Courtney Dawson from MovieMag.org, and I'm here at the Sydney premiere of the new film Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. We'll soon be joined by the leading cast, including the talented Jeremy Renner, Gemma Arterton, the director and producers of the film.
Me and my sister, we have a past. We almost died at the hands of a witch. But that past made us stronger. We'd gotten a taste of blood, witch blood.
Fans gathered at Event Cinemas in Sydney for Academy Award nominee Jeremy Renner, who walked the white carpet with British co-star Gemma Arterton. The pair play siblings Hansel and Gretel in this action-packed horror comedy.
To me, the most important thing was the relationship between Hansel and Gretel, and that the idea that nobody can beat up my sister, except me. That idea, you know, it's a great sort of loving, hating relationship that brothers and sisters have is very complicated. You have brother sister?
I do. I've got a sister.
Yeah, I have two sisters, and I guess it's different with a brother because you have that weird thing of protectiveness. But I'm the one that looks after my siblings, and I definitely had that motherly instinct. And I love the badassness of Gretel. I mean, she's multi-layered. She has a vulnerability to her, but she has this independence and power and toughness that's quite rare to find in a female role.
My name is Gretel, and this is my brother Hansel.
It was a lot lighter in tone than the things that I've done in the past. In the fantasy world, I just thought we had a lot of room to vacillate, to kind of play around.
Hopefully we deliver a fun time, that we don't take ourselves too seriously. The title even suggests that when the little kids grow up and they got a problem with witches and they turn into Jeremy Renner and Gemma, it's a pretty fun, hopefully kick-ass ride at the movies for kids.
I always remember the story and how it left those characters in such a vulnerable and fun place. So I just basically took that story and the world that the Grimm brothers created and those characters, and I added humor and action into it. And hopefully it's a fun combination.
It's a lot of fun, Mama. Put on some 3D glasses and you go on a roller coaster ride.
Thanks for having us. It's certainly a great excuse to come to Australia. Thank you. Please enjoy the movie. We had a good time making it, and I'm sure you'll hopefully walk out with a smile.
My name is Gretel, and this is my brother Hansel.
So, what's it like rehashing these sort of old fairy tales?
Well, we have, with this one, we haven't really changed the original fairy tale. We've sort of done a sequel to it, I guess. We have the original fairy tale within our film, and then it's what happened to them after the fairy tale. So they've grown up, and they're professional witch killers. And we just, because we're not telling the original tale really, we had a lot of flexibility with the characters and what they do and where they are, and we could have a lot of fun with it.
Some creative license you got there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what's it like playing Jeremy's sister? It's a lot of fun?
Yeah, well, we have naturally got quite a brother-sister relationship. I mean, very, very protective, and we look out for each other. And he was so generous as an actor, and it was a joy to work with him.
Can we expect a sequel?
We'll have to see how this one does.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, thanks very much for your time.
And you.
Alright, so how do you go about preparing for a role like this as Hansel? Is there any role or character you draw on for?
Oh no, man. If anything, is drawing on my experiences with, I'm the oldest of a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So that was about it. And then
Big Brother role.
Yeah, grabbing onto Gemma and working really together on a relationship and grounding the movie in that relationship, and then reach for the stars at that point. You know?
And just into the future, which sequel would you like most to move on to? Mission Impossible, Avengers, or another Bourne movie?
I can't pick favorites. It's like picking a favorite child or something. I don't know, man. It's like I enjoy them all, and I have no say in how or what's and when's of anything else. I'm just happy I was able to do them, and glad that they did well.
All right. Good luck.
You gotta be kidding me.
Jeremy, welcome to a show. You look absolutely stunning, first of all. Let me ask, you've never really played a badass type of character before. How was it like stepping into Gretel's shoes in the film?
Oh, I loved it. I feel like I let my inner badass out. I have been known to be badass in my own life at times. So it was nice to, usually I play like quite manicured characters, and it was lovely to let it all go and just get down and dirty, and I really got into all of the action and things like that.
How was it like working with your weapons? I know that you have a double action crossbow, if I'm correct.
You're right, I have a double action crossbow amongst other things. Yeah, they were quite cumbersome and quite heavy, and I mean it's hard to make them look, you know, like effortless, but I think we managed it.
Hey Jeremy, welcome back to the show. Congratulations on the film. So what appealed to you the most about the role that you play in this particular film?
The tone. It was a lot lighter in tone than things that I've done in the past, and in the fantasy world I just thought we had a lot of room to vacillate, to kind of play around and not have to worry about things because it's fantasy.
What particular scene in the film do you absolutely enjoy the most?
I like the town, the Augsburg town. Everything was built. Practical sets, and all the witches were in makeup, and with the troll, not a real troll, but a guy in a suit with the animatronics. It reminds me of like Star Wars or like Raiders or Indiana Jones, things like that I grew up on. That actually Tommy, the director, is a big fan of, and I'm glad he fought for all that stuff to be practical, because it certainly made our job easy and made it a blast.
What will audiences expect when they see Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters?
Hopefully, it's a fun time at the movies. We don't take ourselves too seriously. I think even given the title, the idea that these two little kids grow up and they got a beef against witches. So if you have a problem with witches in your town, you know who to call. So that's the tone, a little bit of the tongue in the cheek that we like with the movie.
The last 2 weeks, we had 5 children taken from us. A witch does not come out in the open like that.
I don't think we're hunting witches. There's something else going on here.
We have to find those kids.
Let's start with this. Shoot anything that moves.
I see you got my invitation.
I have my sister. Well, that's new.
Hell yeah!
Good morning, sunshine.
You gotta be kidding me.
Hansel and Gretel. This is Justin Hill reporting at the Sydney red carpet premiere of Hansel and Gretel.
Exclusive.
Jeremy Renner plays your brother in this film. Their brothers can be a little bit annoying sometimes, a little bit pesky. Is there anything that Jeremy did on set that you were just like, you're being a brother right now?
Yeah, he has this ability to like almost narcolepsy, you know, he just zones out. What? Call me in a minute, like I'm 5 minutes. And I'd be like, Jeremy, come on, we've got to get to work. You know, that was our relationship, was very much brother and sister on set. But we had so much fun. I mean, I don't have a bad word to say about Jeremy. He's a treasure.
You're not a real sister, otherwise you'd have a few bad words to say about him.
Tell him to his face.
Oh, he's right over there. Hansel and Gretel hits the big screens.
No worries. Okay, as soon as I saw the trailer the first time, I wanted to ask you this. When you get with this idea about the Grimm's adaptation to this movie, how you sell this to the studios?
Well, you know what? Actually, I kind of knew going in that they would like this because studios like stuff that is already established in the general public. You know, they love public domain material, and if you can have an original spin on something that everybody in the world knows, studios will like it. So I knew we were intrigued what I had going in, and luckily they love the idea of taking something that everybody in the world knows and putting a new spin on it.
Did you always have in mind Gemma and Jeremy as the main characters?
No, I didn't have anybody in mind when I wrote it, no. But as soon as I saw the Hurt Locker, I knew he was the guy for us. We sent him the script, he really liked it. When you meet him and you realize he's got a great sense of humor as well, which is important for the character. So we got him in pretty early, and then we found Gemma. We saw her in a film called The Disappearance of Alice Creed, and we got them together, and they just gelled straight away, and we knew we had our brother and sister.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for the time, and congratulations. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
We travel the world hunting them.
Hi Gemma, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
First of all, congratulations for the film. Really enjoy it. You stole the movie 100%. So my question is, how did you react when you got the script the first time and said you want to play Gretel in the movie?
Well, when I first got asked about it, I thought I was too old to play Gretel, because my recollection, she was an 8-year-old or whatever. So I was intrigued about how, you know, it's like a sequel to the original fairy tale. I was very intrigued about this brother and sister duo relationship, which is very rare to find in a film. And obviously Jeremy was attached, so that was very attractive for me. You know, he's such a fantastic actor. I thought the brother and sister thing with him would be great.
What was the hardest part of the film, the hardest scene to shoot for you?
I think actually there were a few stunt scenes where I was very nervous because I didn't want to muck it up. But then they ended up being the most satisfying scenes to shoot, because when you're doing all those fight choreography and things like that, it's very technical, but when you get it, you know you've got it, and you're like, yeah, and everyone's like, that looked really cool, yeah. So sometimes the hardest thing is the most satisfying thing.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for your time.
And you, thank you very
You
much.
see my signal? You unleash hell.
Wait, what's the signal?
Oh, it'll be me. Blowing one of these bitches' heads off.
Yeah. Well, first of all, congratulations on the film, really enjoyable. And I have just one question to you. You have been doing the Bourne franchise now, Avengers, Hansel and Gretel. What kind of role would you like to play next, and why?
I don't know. I'm going to do some smaller movie. I'm going to do a really cool movie with David O. Russell, actually, I'm very excited about. I don't know, anything that's challenging, anything that's new and surprises me, and I don't know. Not sure what is.
What was the hardest part of Hansel and Gretel?
I don't know. I guess leaving the set. It was so much fun. The world was created for us. It was magnificent to kind of go to set and be there every day.
Beautiful. Thanks so much.
This is our old house. Our parents didn't abandon us. They were murdered.
Hi. Very nice to meet you. I'm George. Same question I asked you, the director. Like, how, as a producer, how do you get this project and try to sell to the studios? Because it looks like a crazy idea. Like, I know, remember me like films like Lincoln Vampire Hunter or something like that. So how hard is to get to do this kind of genre movie?
You know what? It is hard, but it started just with the idea that Tommy had, and since he was the writer, it started with the strength of his script. And so when he wrote a really terrific script, that really got the studio's attention that there was potential in this idea. So
one character that really grabbed my attention on the film was Andrew the Troll. That was incredible.
Edward the Troll, yes, he's great.
So I wonder if you can tell me about the process of doing that character.
You know, Edward's a completely animatronic guy, and there's an actor, Derek Mears, inside of him. So Tommy really wanted something that wasn't a CG creation. He wanted his actors to act with a real troll to the extent that we could build one, and I think it turned out pretty successfully.
Amazing. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations.
Well, that's new.
Hansel and Gretel.
You gotta be kidding me.